Well, hello and welcome to episode 269 of Drink the Movies. I'm Brian here, as always, with Michaela. And 25 years ago, a little film came out and literally was the benchmark for animated feature films going forward because it won the very prestigious first ever Oscar given to an animated feature film in that category that it was going to go on to win. And pretty big deal about this one winning it because it won it over a Disney film. There was a bit of a schism which led to Shrek being created in the first place. That's an interesting story. Maybe we'll get into that. Maybe we will not. But what we are going to definitely get into is the greatness of Shrek. 25th anniversary. Happy birthday, Shrek.
Happy birthday, Shrek. You're old enough to go and, I don't know, have your own ogre village in swamp in the middle of nowhere.
That's right.
Congratulations. Um, okay, I know we're going to talk about this film a lot, but do you remember seeing it? Do you remember watching it in the theater? Do you remember the amount of marketing blitz that occurred? Because I do.
Oh yeah, I remember. I definitely remember the marketing blitz. I remember like the advertisements for it. I remember just how like big of a deal it was when it came out. Like monumental. Mike Myers was about as big of a star as you could possibly get at the time. Same with Eddie Murphy. Same with Cameron Diaz coming together to voice this thing, which really kind of it felt similar in a way to animated films the way they had gone since the first Toy Story came out, the Pixar Disney there. But it also felt like it was kind of turning the page into like the next chapter of what animated films were going to become for the next decade, I thought. So yeah, Shrek was a big, huge deal. I did not go to the movie theater to see it, so saw it at home, but I had the DVD. I watched it about 1,000 times. I love Shrek. I forgot how much I really love Shrek until I watched it again yesterday afternoon. And yeah, definitely excited to talk about this one here on its birthday.
Yes. Well, very excited. Well, first things first, we're going to need a cocktail for this momentous occasion. It's 25 years old. It is old enough to drink, and so are we. So let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about this week's cocktail for Shrek. So, Brian, I don't know if you remember this, but about 5 years ago, when we started Drink the Movies, I bought a
Mm,
bottle of Midori.
yeah.
And I still have that same bottle. I don't know if that's actually a good thing or not. It's probably got an expiration date. It tastes fine, but it's still really green. So, of course, I needed a cocktail that was going to pay our ogre and our princess Fiona justice. And so I tried my best to create something that was going to be kind of fun, kind of different, and not like a giant sugar bomb. That was my goal.
The Midori was sitting in your liquor cabinet like Donkey sitting outside of Shrek's house, just watching all the other liquor like come in and out, and the Midori is just sitting there being sad. It's like I just want a friend. Why will no one like want to hang
Why
out
will no one love
with the
me?
Midori? I know. See, terrible.
Yeah, poor Midori. Well, I think I have discovered a way to use Midori for the good of all. And
Okay.
I created this thing called the Happily Ever After. And let me start by saying this is not going to be a sugar bomb. So if you're worried about it being like super like a melon ball, like all of those super sugary cocktails. This is not
Mm,
it. So you can
yep.
keep that simple syrup at home because you're not going to need any of it. What you're going to do is you're going to take 2 ounces of gin or vodka. And if you're going to do gin, I would actually go ahead and I would do Hendrick's cucumber gin because I think that that adds like an extra je ne sais quoi to it. But if not, if you don't have that, then gin or vodka will be fine. An ounce of Midori, an ounce of lime juice, freshly squeezed if you can have it, a couple ounces of either club soda or like a cucumber soda, if you can do that, and then half an ounce of elderflower liqueur or syrup. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna put all that in a shaker tin. You're gonna shake it up so it's really, really frothy, and then you're gonna put it into either like a coupe glass or a martini glass, and you're gonna add like a teeny tiny pinch of gold luster dust. A little goes a long way here. You don't want it to turn brown. If you use too much gold dust, it's going to turn brown and it will not look like a happily ever after. It's going to look terrible. So, you don't need the luster dust. If you don't have it, don't worry about going and getting it. It's not going to change the flavor at all. But it is going to create this like shimmery greenness to the cocktail, which is really fun for your happily ever after.
You need some luster dust. That's what helps Donkey fly. in the movie. If you've never seen
That's
a
right.
donkey fly, so yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and mix that up exactly like Michaela just said. You can also make this over ice, which is how I had my second one of these because I just wanted to see the difference. And then it's more of like a long drink kind of a thing. Also very
Mm,
delicious.
mm.
And yeah, definitely want to hit with the cucumber notes. The cucumber Midori is a flavor combination that pairs really well. So I did that. I did it exactly how Michaela mentioned there. But unfortunately, I didn't have any cucumber soda, so I went ahead and used club soda in my first one, and then the second one that I made into a long drink, I skipped the elderflower syrup and the club soda and used our favorite elderflower tonic from Fever Tree in there. So I still got, some hint of that elderflower. I like the tonic water, gave it like a little bit of like this little like punchy kind of like backbone through that
Mm.
Midori. So that was really nice as well. So yeah, really kind of dealer's choice in terms there. You just want something that's effervescent and going to carry the flavors of the drink there, so you can play around with that a little bit. Cucumber soda you may or may not be able to find. I think dry soda is the one that I see around these parts more often than not, and that is a banger. Get some dry soda. They have a lavender one I think too. Just mix that with gin. You're ready for summer right there. So if you can get some of that, but yeah, go ahead and play around with that. But yeah, the gin Midori lime juice is a really excellent base to kind of play around with and make this into either some sort of like frothy martini kind of a thing, or like I said, some kind of like long drink soda kind of thing. So definitely check this one out. It is really really good. So with that, Michaela, let's go ahead and let's polish off the Midori. We're running out of movies with green things in it for a bit, so you can you can retire that bottle. We'll get a new one for later. So let's do that. We'll mix one of these up, and we'll be right back to chat about this week's film, Shrek.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Well, she's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
She's married to the Muffin Man. My lord, we found it. Well, then what are you waiting for? Bring it in!
Spoiler warning for Shrek. If you've not seen this film, it turned 25 this year, so you have had plenty of time. But you should see it. And we're going to talk about all the things. There is a twist at the end, and we're going to spoil it for you. So if you've not seen it, stop now, press pause, go make yourself a happily ever after. Go watch the movie, and then come back, and we can chat about all things Shrek.
Yeah, there is a spoiler. If you've seen any of the promotional material for like the 900 films that came after this, then you probably sort of could work that out for yourself. But yeah, definitely a spoiler warning here. 25 years on. If you haven't seen Shrek, are you even watching movies? You haven't seen Shrek? Come on. Released in 2001, it was directed by Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen, and it stars the voices of Mike Myers as the reclusive swamp-dwelling ogre Shrek. Eddie Murphy as the all alone looking for a friend donkey, John Lithgow as the ambitious would-be king Lord Farquaad, and Cameron Diaz as the cursed and truly beautiful Princess Fiona. I mentioned at the top, Michaela, this won the first ever animated feature film Oscar. Kudos to Shrek there for winning that over a Disney film. Again, as I mentioned, we might get into that here in a second, but it was also nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay because this was based on a children's book.
Most really cool, I don't know, stories are some of the best animated films of all time were adapted from some sort of story, right? So that makes sense.
Hmm.
That makes sense. But this is truly, um, I think this was the beginning of when animated features became for adults and children alike. I really
Hmm.
think that it was because it was after this that Pixar became a thing, right? I want to say I'm right.
So there was Pixar before because they had obviously done Toy Story
Hmm.
alongside with Disney, but then Pixar kind of spun out into being its own thing. Actually, Shrek wins over Monsters Inc. Is who it beats there for the first Academy Award here. But yeah, to echo what you were just saying, it felt like it had changed, and I mean, Toy Story certainly had themes of being an adult and thinking about your childhood with toys, which goes off the rails and makes you as sad as possible if you continue watching Toy Story films. If you're like a masochist or whatever, and you want to keep doing that to yourself, you can do that. But yeah, it felt like not only was just like the subject matter like turning more towards adults, obviously still entertainment for children there, but certainly like stories and like character arcs that adults could connect with and feel themselves in. But Shrek also, like, I feel did a good job of like integrating also like this more like adult sense of like humor and story
Mm.
elements to it.
Oh, for sure. I think the adults got more of the jokes. Like
Yeah.
for example, when, Ogre, when Shrek opens the door and he's like, "What is happening?" And every fairy tale character of all time is like sitting in his front yard, and you see all of them. Like you see the three little pigs, and you see Goldilocks and the three bears. I mean, you see all of this stuff. And if you were a kid, you might go some of those, but the attention to detail as an adult, you're like, "Oh my gosh, there's the Billy Goat's Gruff is in there." I mean, it is crazy. And
Mm.
so, and just some of the inside jokes, I feel like were inside jokes if you were an adult. Um, and that was the first time I remember seeing that, where it kind of almost broke this fourth wall of maturity in the
Hmm.
sense of what you could get out of a film, what you could get out of an animated film. And I really thought that that was one of the things that made Shrek so special. And fun fact, did you know Nicolas Cage was supposed to be Shrek, but he didn't want to look like an ogre, and so he decided not to? Did you know that?
I did know that in research for this very episode. I don't think I knew it before. I knew that Chris Farley had originally like signed on to do Shrek before his passing. I was unaware of the Nicolas Cage. We're probably good because Nicolas Cage would have turned himself into a like literal ogre to like research the film. Maybe I don't know. So maybe that was like a bridge too far for Nicolas Cage at the time. I don't know. But yeah, that would have I couldn't even imagine that. So.
Right.
And
I
Nicolas Cage
mean,
is now he's going to be like Spider Noir or something in the
right,
Spider-Man man thing.
for
That
sure.
seems to make more sense for Nicolas Cage. But I don't
Yeah, he
know.
could wear like a black suit instead of covering himself with green paint. I mean, the method acting is big with that one, I believe. But yeah, okay, well, let's get into it. The can we talk about the soundtrack? Because the first thing that I had totally forgotten was the soundtrack to this film that starts with the opening credits and the opening sequence.
Oh
First
yeah.
of all, the animation's amazing, but second of all, I was like, I had totally forgotten that it starts with Smash Mouth. It's
Oh
Smash Mouth,
yes, it's
right?
Smash Mouth. Yeah, oh, yeah. All-Star for sure. Yeah, you know how like Saturday Night Fever starts and it's like John Travolta like walking down the road and it's basically like a film by the Bee Gees about the Bee Gees. This movie should have been like a film by Smash Mouth or like
Yeah.
about Smash Mouth because yeah, the film bookends with Smash Mouth. You get All Star there at like the beginning, like going through like the little montage of like Shrek. Shrek's in like the outhouse reading like fairy tale things, so that's pretty fun. And then of course he goes about like his getting prepared for the days, like bathing in the mud and all that sort of stuff, grabbing grubs and stuff for dinner. So yeah, it's playing All Star by Smash Mouth there, and then the film ends with more Smash Mouth doing the Monkeys cover of I'm a Believer, which I may or may not have choked up a little bit watching that yesterday. So yeah, All Star Smash Mouth. The score is great, and then yeah, it has all these other like modern music tropes, which at the time was like a way wild off the wall kind of a thing for especially like a prestige like animated thing, like
Sure.
classically scored, coming off the back of all of the most classic of Disney cartoons, which is how we get into like the little schism bit. So I'll circle back onto that here, but yeah, that was like a new thing to like put these in, and apparently um that the opening song there was just like a placeholder for like the animation like sequence and was going to be like an original song, which eventually just stick with what works. Stick with Smash Mouth whenever possible.
I wonder how many times that has actually happened, because that's not the first time that I've heard that they've put a song in as a placeholder because they need
Mhm.
something to kind of keep the film going,
Right.
and figure out like what they want to do. And that is the second or third time I've heard where they're like, at the end of it, it just feels right, and it totally does. This could have been nothing else. I just now, I mean, and I remember every time I heard that song from like 2001 on, it was totally Shrek getting ready. It must be 10 years since I've heard that song, but I just loved it. I thought that was so great. And Shrek is like this lovable, angry, like curmudgeon-y, like you want to think he's an old man, but he's clearly not an old man. He's just a
Mhm.
giant green ogre that no one likes, and he just wants to live on his own, man. He just wants to be left alone. He doesn't need anybody showing up at his swamp. He certainly doesn't need a donkey like walking around, talking to him, telling him he loves him all the time. Uh,
That's true.
it's so great.
Yeah, I mean, and it sets the story up like really well, like right off the bat there, because you have the villagers pitchforks and torches who come and obviously run away there and sees the flyer that the king is collecting all of these magical creatures and we find out later in the film that he was collecting all the magical creatures because he wanted the mirror, right, the tell your future mirror or
The
whatever
magic
whatever that
mirror.
mirror does. I've read the magic mirror. He wants the magic mirror. So he's going through, and then you get like the saddest like bit of the movie because you get like the three bears, and you got like the little baby bear. He's like, my cage is too small, and he's all sad. So that's sad there, and we get introduced to Donkey, talking Donkey. I love that scene so much, and but that lady, yeah, that lady should get arrested. Don't turn in your talking donkey for I don't know, 10 shillings or whatever she was going to get for it. But yeah,
She
then
looks like the shame lady from Game of Thrones. Did
she
you
does
notice
look like,
that? I was like, this
oh yeah.
when they were creating Game of Thrones, they were like, we need the donkey lady. That's who we need. We need
You mean
we need
you
to
mean the
bring
boss
her.
lady from you mean the boss lady from Ted Lasso? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's who I mean.
That's what
Yeah,
you mean?
but
Yeah.
but not. Yeah, no, and I love that. I totally forgot that he flew. I totally forgot that. So I was really excited that to add the luster dust because it was like, oh, kind of magical. But yeah, he doesn't talk and then he does, and then he flies and then he doesn't. And Shrek, unwittingly just runs right into Donkey as he's getting chased, right? And that creates like this friendship and this kinship that lasts, I don't know, 9 films, right?
That's
From now on.
that's right. Yeah, Donkey becomes this tag along. I love like the attention to like the animation here, and apparently there was like an actual donkey that they used as like reference here. I didn't write down the name of that donkey, but so that's pretty cool. But I love like how like animalistic like his reactions to stuff is because anytime there's any sort of like danger or fear, you'll see Donkey will like go and put Shrek between him and himself in the danger there, which is super cute. I love that so much. But yeah, he's like an unwanted like friend at this point, right? Shrek just wants to be left to his own devices. He wants to be left to his own swamp, which is now full of these magical creatures. I love that even in what is the name of this place?
Far, far away.
Well, far, far, far away, and then like the city. What the heck is the name of the city?
Oh,
I don't know.
Duloc.
Anyway, Duloc. There's
Duloc.
there's still like bureaucracy, and you need like you're like you like the deed to your land to be able to like live there, which is pretty wild. Like the three little pigs need to have like a mortgage like on their house to get in there. So yeah, all these creatures turn up at Shrek's house, which could be like a long drawn out thing, but it's like really super simple. I love the three blind mice. The three blind mice are hilarious. They go in and they're like
They're so
kicking things
great.
over. They're really funny. And then of course you have like the little Red Riding Hood, like Fox is in the bed. They like throw Sleeping Beauty like up onto the kitchen table and stuff. And he goes outside, and all of the fairy tale creatures are right there. And I love the like parodies of all of these fairy tale creatures because we recognize them all almost immediately from the Disney films that they featured in because they're clothed very similarly. They have similar voices and things like that. And now it's probably a good time to talk. So DreamWorks was founded by uh, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who had previously been the basically the head of Disney Films. Got passed over for the role of COO when that came open at Disney. Was not very happy, so left and founded DreamWorks and took a bunch of animators with him because I mean, he was responsible for all of those movies we've talked on and on about in the early '90s, the animated films right there. So starts DreamWorks. So it's a little bit of like a thumb in the nose at Disney, like a lot of this stuff in this film. So that's pretty fun there. But yeah, long story short is all these characters are there because they got evicted from their lands by Farquaad. I guess it's better than being locked up. So I guess that they have that going for them,
Or
but they lost their
tortured.
house or tortured, I guess, like poor little
Tortured.
gingerbread bad
I
man, which is the funniest scene in the movie. I still think, even though it's
oh,
horrendous, but it's so
it's
funny.
terrible. Like he has no legs, and you're just. I mean, as a kid, you feel
Do you
bad. As
know
an
the Muffin
adult,
Man? It's so
the
funny. It's
Muffin
so
Man,
funny.
the
He spits
Muffin
out of his,
Man,
you're a monster. It's my favorite line, maybe in all of cinema
you're a
history. It's so good.
monster.
It's so good.
So
It's so
good.
good.
But then they find the mirror, right? And they're like, "Here we go, Lord Farquaad, who's like 3 feet tall." Okay, he's
Yeah.
definitely got the quote unquote short man syndrome because he needs to feel like he's the best in order to, or he needs to feel like he has minion over people to feel good about himself at all.
Mhm.
And the magic mirror rightfully says, this isn't your kingdom yet because you're not a king. You have to be a king to have a kingdom. And to do that, you need to marry a princess. I don't know why that doesn't make you a prince instead of a king, but whatever, whatever, whatever. We're given three choices, right? We got one who's up in a tower, I think. We got one who's still asleep, and you have to like go through all these things, and there's a dragon, right? None of
Yeah.
these seem all that appealing, but that one, I don't know. He's like the one that lives with seven men. I thought that was hilarious because when you think about these things as like an adult, it's like, so you're telling me that there was a girl who ran away from this woman who was her stepmother who was trying to kill her, and
Hmm.
instead she went into the woods and like started cooking and cleaning for all these people, and not once. I mean, it just, yeah.
And
Anyway, it's so great.
all the woodland critters kept turning up. Yeah, absolutely. So he passes on Cinderella. You pass on Sleeping Beauty. Princess Fiona is the one for me. Yeah, but unfortunately, she's high in a tower. Right? There's a fire breathing dragon. That's sad. So you got to go get him. Lord Farquaad is definitely not up for the task. So he's going to have a tournament of champions as you do if you're a lord, I guess. Tale as old as time. You get someone else to go do your dirty work, and that's exactly what he does. About this time, Shrek and Donkey turn up in Duloc to
Duloc.
see what's going on. Get these fairy tale creatures out of my swamp. Get them out of my swamp, he says. And to get there, and then Duroc is meant to be like a parody of Disney World. You have like the little like it's a small world kind of thing, and the characters there, everything is like super clean and organized, and they do my other favorite like funny cracks me up every time I see it is they get to like the front gate and it's got the little queue the thing there to walk through, and you have the guy there with the giant like Lord Farquaad head on who sees Shrek and starts running away, who runs like through all of the barricades. You just see like this giant head like keep passing like back and forth in front of the camera like watching it on TV, and then Shrek just walks through it. Hilarious. I love it so much. And then they get in, of course, and instead of having their battle, they have to battle Shrek.
They have to battle Shrek, who is pretty easy to battle with, right? And so uh, Farquaad says, "Hey, you're my champion. I'll make you my champion here. You can go if you go and um, do this deed for me. Go bring me back Princess Fiona, and I will give you the deed to your land, and I will get rid of all the creatures that are in your swamp." And he's very
I'll
excited
fast
to do
track you
that.
through the zoning department if you
No problem. It's like Sons of Anarchy animated. I love it. And so, he does. And Donkey just kind of tags along. I love their relationship because Donkey is just like this happy-go-lucky character who's scared of everything. But he's
Mhm.
like talking and he's just like, oh, and he's just da, 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 da. And Shrek is like just quiet, like, oh, I hate this guy so much, right? But at the end, he's like,
Mhm.
I can't, he doesn't want to be without him. So, can we just talk about this dragon moment? Okay. So they go to they go to this tower. There's this giant dragon. The dragon looks terrifying the first time you see it. It
Yeah.
looks like the dragon from Sleeping Beauty, right? There's
Yeah.
flames. And then of
Flames.
course,
It's the same
Donkey
style.
gets real nervous.
It's the same colors as the dragon. And
It's so amazing. It's so great. And then Donkey just gets really nervous. And what does Donkey do when he gets nervous? He starts like shamelessly like talking out of his butt to
yep.
this, and it's just like, oh, you do this and you do that. And all of a sudden we realize that this dragon is a woman, is a female, identifies as a female, and seems to really like Donkey, which I'm not even going to talk about how messed up that really kind of is because we see what happens in the next films, right? But it's just like she just becomes super enamored and now she has eyelashes like she didn't before, but now she's got like lipstick on. It's freaking amazing. I love it so much.
Yeah, that's right. Gonna take a donkey off there to sit on a pile of gold, which might have been important to anyone other than Shrek and Donkey, who just want to be left alone and just want to have a friend. And Shrek goes off to find Princess Fiona. I love Princess Fiona, like pretends to be asleep then when he finally gets up there because it's funny because like Shrek opens the movie, right? He's in the outhouse and he's reading through like the fairy tale thing, and presumably that's what Princess Fiona has had time to do herself there, being locked up in this tower. So she knows how this goes, right? She's supposed to be rescued by her one true love. They're going to kiss. It's going to be sparks flying, all this and that. And of course, that doesn't happen because Shrek is like, I need to get you back. He's like, I'm not a messenger boy. I'm a delivery boy. And like he just grabs her and carries her out of there. But I love like even as like agitated as he is with Donkey this whole time, as like fed up with him being around, as like much as he just wants to be like shut up and be quiet so they can carry out this task, still has got to go save him from the dragon. Could have just left him. Shrek, ogre, big heart.
Big heart, big heart. I think this part kind of in this middle piece where it's Shrek, Fiona, and Donkey, and they're kind of making their way back to the castle to Lord Farquaad. This is really where the relationships kind of grow, and you see like Shrek become much bigger than just this green ogre thing, right? Which I
Mhm.
really attribute to Mike Myers. Apparently, this character wasn't even supposed to have an accent, right? It was going to be Nicolas Cage, and then it was going to be Chris Farley. So there are a lot of possibilities for this character, but I really
Mhm.
love the way that Mike Myers kind of created the voice and the cadence of his words and the way he speaks, because you automatically think that he's just going to be this grouchy person. But then the more he talks to Donkey and the more he talks to Fiona and the more Fiona kind of shows her sort of fears to both of them, right?
Mhm.
You start to really see that there's so much more depth of character in this film, and I really love that. From a critique standpoint, this is not your run of the mill boy meets girl, boy saves girl, boy gets girl kind of thing, right? It's a lot more layered, and I really like how Fiona kind of they make fun of the fact that her voice is so great or so wonderful. She like makes a bird explode instead of
Mhm.
like talking to birds. So she's not really this picturesque princess either.
Yeah.
And at night, she's like, "You need to stay away from me. I need to go be alone." And you're like, "What is that all about?" And the first time you see it, you don't really know why. Um,
Mhm.
and so it's just kind of interesting because he is not a cat, a Prince Charming, and she is not a fairy princess, fairy tale princess either.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's funny like rewatching it because I feel like when this came out in 2001, I probably watched this movie like I don't know, like 30 times, 40 times. Like I watched this movie a lot when it came out. I really like it. Um and I don't think I ever really like picked up on like the context clues that they're giving because spoiler warning, Princess Fiona turns into an ogre like once the sun goes down, which they allude to, the magic mirror does, right? Because it said that can only be seen like until like the sun goes down or something, or she changes after dark, or I don't remember what he says exactly. But there's a couple of things, right? Because they stop the first time and they go into like or she goes into like that cave and he pushes like the boulder away from, and then she goes and like rips this giant piece of this tree off. Like that's pretty strong. You have Robin Hood and his merry men come and do this like song and dance. She's like that's annoying, and she like beats them all up. That's pretty good. And you see them like going through and they're like falling in love kind of thing, and they do like the little like balloon thing with like the frog and the snake, which is pretty good. But she catches like a bunch of flies, and I never noticed this before. Because it's like a blink and you miss it kind of a thing. But she catches like all the flies in the like spider web thing and makes them basically like a cotton candy kind of thing. And she hands it to him, and then she licks her fingers.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I'd never noticed that before.
Aw, well, I that part where she like makes him like a snake balloon like dog, and then he like blows up the is it a frog? It's a
A
frog, right?
frog, I think, yeah.
And they're like it's like it is really like they're in the circus together or they're walking
Hmm.
through like a fair, and the world is their oyster. And I just loved that because they both kind of just liked each other. They didn't really care. What it was supposed to look like. And I feel like that is such a honest way that when you're a kid and you think about fairy tales, right? It's this idea, especially for women. I'm just going to say that this person will come along, and it's going to be all amazing and happily ever after. And really, that's not what happens here at all. Like they just like each other. And then it's not until I don't know the second night or the third night when
Mhm.
Donkey discovers that Fiona becomes this ogre, and she is like, he's never gonna like me. He only likes me now because I'm so pretty in the day, and no one's ever gonna truly like me. And the whole thing is when the ogre, when Shrek overhears that, he thinks that she's talking about him being ugly, and I don't know why that always gets me so emotional. It's like a Wuthering Heights moment where people are misunderstanding and it could be
Mhm.
solved so easily, but because they're so afraid to of their feelings, they don't. And so he gets mad and she pretends she doesn't care, and it's like, fine, just go, I'm just gonna deliver you and it's gonna be fine, and go find your true love, and rah, 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 rah. It's yeah.
Yeah, and they only have this interaction because they basically like prolonged the travel because they're like close enough to to the city there to get her back, and they decide to hey, don't need to rush into these kind of things, right? Spend more one more night there, and then of course Shrek hears that. He goes off and fetches Lord Farquaad and the guard, and they come and get Princess Fiona. But yeah, they're both so afraid. So obviously she agrees to marry Lord Farquaad there, and Shrek goes back about his business, right? He goes back to his swamp, and he is good to go.
Oh, I love for I John Lithgow is the most amazing uh nemesis, right? He plays such a wonderful evil person, right? I
Hmm.
mean, if he's not asking the gingerbread man about the muffin man, then he is on that horse. I love it where he's like, Gerald, I don't know who he is, but he like takes him off of the normal looking, like it looks like he has really long legs and now he's like 3 feet tall. And
Hmm.
um man, the insecurity, that poor Lord Farquaad.
Yeah, he does a really good job. The animators did a tremendous job, I think, with Lord Farquaad, like with the facial expressions and things like that, because that's another thing, kind of in this period of animation. And obviously, if you watch Shrek now versus the last Shrek, or the last Puss in Boots film, which just came out like a year ago, like it's so like rudimentary looking, like compared to like the animation that we get out of Pixar or DreamWorks today. But like his animation I thought was really spectacular because we hadn't really seen like lifelike people. Like that was the thing, like in Toy Story, like you never saw like anyone's face. It was just like legs and voice like off
Mhm.
screen, right? It was like a real Charlie Brown kind of a thing where you never saw the adults. It was that kind of thing. But to have like an actual like human character be so prominent, I thought was great. And then yeah, you could totally just see like John Lithgow like in Lord Farquaad, really
Right.
captured that character so well.
Yeah. I mean, the animation part, I don't know enough about it, but like, we went from painting literally like in like 1994 was when Lion King came out, and I think Little Mermaid came out, was right around that time period. And so this
Mhm.
is not even 10 years later. And a friend of mine actually went to go work for DreamWorks, and her job, and it was a really cool job. Like it was something that thousands of people would love to have done. Her job was to texturize certain aspects of the animation of the
Mhm.
film. And that
Yep.
was it. I mean, and that sounds like something really small now, right? Where it's like, oh, of course that's going to look lumpy or that's going to look hairy, but that was her entire job. And the fact that like it just looked so rich, and it really does still stand the test of time. I feel like um and the way that they matched the words that are spoken and the script that is spoken with the way
Mhm.
that the facial expressions are, and they did that without like motion. um I'm not sure what the word is, but that motion sensing
Right. Yeah.
technology that they have done, like in Avatar and things like that. The fact
Mhm.
that they did that without that is just incredible to me.
Yeah, it's really cool, really cool. Yeah, so Fiona is off to the castle to get married. She's like, "Let's just do it today." And Lord Farquaad's like, I love he always was like ponders everything, and then he's like, "Yes, that's a great idea. Let's do it." So he does that. Shrek goes back. He gets his land deed. He goes home, and about then, Donkey turns up, and he's like, "Hey, I did half the work. I get half of your property, bro. Good on you, Donkey. You got to stand up for what you earned, right there, my man." And then eventually, talks Shrek off a cliff and kind of doesn't really spill the beans because he'd promised Fiona that he wasn't going to spill the beans on her secret right there. And I love that line from Donkey too. Apply it to your own lives out there as you see fit. But he tells Princess Fiona, he says, "What's the point in being able to talk if you just have to if you have to keep secrets. So there you go. There you go. Apply that to your own life out there. Thanks, Donkey, for that word of wisdom. So he talked Shrek into it. And he's like, we gotta, no, you gotta go. You gotta like come clean with her. If you're really, like this girl, you gotta go. You gotta go say something. Bad news is that the wedding has already happened, right? Wedding's already happened. But the good news is that in the intermediate time right here where everyone's feeling sad for themselves, which seems like something that probably happens over the course of just a couple of hours. Donkey has also like built this loving relationship with the dragon, which seems like maybe that's a bit of a time parallel that's not really working out here on our timeline, but that's okay because it's amazing to see Donkey in love with the dragon right there. And how do you get to the castle if not by dragon?
I mean, that is the best way to go. Flying is always easier than going by land. I feel like lots of movies could take some guidance from there, but I love it because right as they're about to kiss and say I do, right? She's really excited because she's like, Fiona believes that if true love's kiss happens, then she is going to turn into her true self and she will not become an ogre anymore. And that will just die and go away. And it'll be a secret that no one will ever know except Donkey. But right before the sun is setting, she's like trying to speed this thing up. She's like, yes, I do. Let's do this. Come on now. Right before Shrek shows up, and I really love the way it's so simple. He just tells her he loves her. It's not like super alliterated with lots of words and stuff. He's just like, I love you. And it's like, oh, she's like, I
He's
love you too.
that's right, fellow men out there. Just we're all ogres at heart. Just be like Shrek. Be more like Shrek. Be more like Donkey. Be more like Shrek. Be like Shrek in this instance for sure. But yeah, they kind of bust in, and about then, he tells her that he loves her, and yeah, so they go and they have their kiss. Loves one true kiss. So she does. She takes on her true actual form, which is the form of uh, Fiona the ogre. There.
Fiona
So
the
that's
ogre.
so that's good. It's not great for Lord Farquaad, right? Because the sun is set, so she had turned into the ogre. He orders his guards to like capture her and to kill Shrek, I think is what he orders. But that doesn't go that well because again they have a dragon. So they give the kiss. She stays an ogre, and Shrek, of course, Shrek, my man. He's like, well, you're beautiful, lady. What are you even talking about, Princess Fiona
Yeah.
ogre? We're gonna be in love now, and that's what they do.
And that's what they do. It's so lovely. She's a way better looking, just from an aesthetics perspective, she's a way better looking ogre than she was a person, a human,
I mean, she's
in
still
my
out of Shrek's
opinion.
league as an ogre, I will say,
I
but
mean, yeah, I mean, that's true. But I do love that because she's like, I'm supposed to be really beautiful. And he's like, but you are. You always like because he didn't care about any of that. It's so lovely. It was good for my like 18-year-old self, 20-year-old self to see that this is possible, even though it's a fairy tale that's not really a fairy tale. I love how they get married in a swamp.
Get
And
married
it's
in the
like
swamp.
all the things that like he was and is, and she totally digs about him, like all the things that other people found gross or off-putting or were scared of, she was really into. And that is why it's such a great love story, is because, if you really love somebody, all the things that you're scared of or don't like about yourself or would other people would find unattractive, the person that likes you, they're just gonna like you. They're gonna like all those things. And and in this case, it's living in a swamp and brushing teeth with green slime and going on honeymoon. I want to know where they go on their honeymoon. I think that would be cool to see. And
Yeah,
spoiler warning, I think we see it at the beginning of the second movie that comes out,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is
I can
cool.
really remember. I can really remember Shrek too. Yeah, I love that. I love they transform like Cinderella's fairy godmothers like transform the onion into the carriage, which is pretty fun. Because ogres are complex. They have layers like an onion. I love that. So that's fun. I really love she throws the bouquet, and then you have like Cinderella and Snow White are like fighting over to try to catch the bouquet, and then Dragon swoops in and catches it. But yeah, I love that. And then you have Smash Mouth going. You have Donkey up there on the mic. All the fairy tale creatures are just rocking out and having a good time, and yeah, all is well that ends well. Here in this. Shrek is 90 minutes and it's perfect in my estimation. So there you go. So there
Mm,
you go.
there we go. Yeah, unlike last week's film, I can't really pick this one apart and say that I don't like it. It's interesting though, because I don't remember seeing it since I saw it in the theater. I did
Yeah.
see it in the theater, and I remember seeing it in the theater because I was very much a movie nerd even then. And I thought that the animation, I really wanted to see it on the big screen. But I don't remember seeing it all the way through since. And it's
Hmm.
interesting because I think I liked it then. I really like it now. I knew we were going to do this because it's the 25th anniversary and it's such an important film, but I didn't
Hmm.
remember it being as good as it is. And now I get it because I never understood why there were nine other films that came after this, right? There's Shrek 2, there's Shrek the third, there
Yeah,
is
there's Shrek the
Puss in
Third.
Boots,
There's Shrek Forever After. Yeah, Puss in Boots, and then Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which came out in 2022, and then Shrek 5 is coming out. I think next year. I think it's supposed to be coming out, which will be interesting because that's like 17 years from the last Shrek film that it's going to be coming out. So I don't know. I saw Shrek 2 like back when it came out, but I think I only ever watched that one time. So either that didn't resonate with me as well. It came out in 2004, so like that was like end of like college time. So then you're like working for 40 hours a week instead of going to class for like 8 hours a week and then watching
right.
movies for the other 32 hours to like fill in your time. So that's probably has something to do with that there. But yeah, I mean, I watched Shrek a ton, but I probably haven't watched it for, I don't know, like most of these 25 years old that it is
Yeah.
now. And I mean, like I remembered like almost all of it, like and even like the jokes. I mean, there are things that I quote all the time. Like I say, "You're a monster," like all the time about little gingerbread man. Like I'll throw that into my like daily like talking
Who
to people and things like that. So
who ends up being okay? They like repaired that I loved. They like repaired
yeah, God
one
bless
and
us,
they
everyone. Yeah,
and then, because he
he has a
crumbles the
little
dude's leg
when
in
he
front
throw
of him. He is a monster. That
and he
is
throws it, he
terrible.
throws them in the trash can.
Oh,
Terrible, but yeah,
oh,
he gets
awful.
the little fresh legs. Just
Yep, yep.
just
And
just glued
a
back
little
on with
crutch and
some
becomes tiny
frosting and a
too. It's amazing.
little crutch. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So yeah, so Shrek's awesome. So it is playing in the theater right now. If you want to go see it for its anniversary, check that out. That'll be fun. We did not make our way out to the movie theater to see it, so watch this at home. But it was great to revisit it. I was pretty happy. It was a good 90 minutes well spent yesterday watching this again, and having the happily ever after cocktail to go alongside of it was also an excellent time. So, Michaela, any parting thoughts about Shrek? I mean, like it's interesting. I was thinking about this like right before we started recording, before we got on the call. And in a lot of ways, since we started the podcast, especially, like it seems like the animated feature film probably produces the films that you and I like think and talk about just like on the regular, like between ourselves off air, like the most, right? Flow,
Mm.
Wild Robots, Spider-Verse, like all these animated films have just left such like a monumental impression on, obviously everyone, but you and
Hmm.
I too, to to talk about an animated
Yeah.
film here that, like I said, like set like the literal actual benchmark for what the Oscar animated Best Picture film was going to be. So.
Yeah, and I'm so glad. I can't imagine. I mean, and I obviously I was alive, so I watched a lot of Oscars where there wasn't an animated uh, category,
Yeah.
and it's crazy to me now.
And I mean, there were animated films that had been nominated for Oscars before, and there had even been uh, animated films that were nominated. I think like Toy Story, I think was nominated for like best original screenplay. So that had happened before, but it had not had obviously its own dedicated
Yeah.
category yet.
And that's really cool. That this is kind of where it comes from, and this was the first one to win it. And it beat out Disney with Monsters
Hmm.
Inc., I believe, right? So
Hmm.
that's kind of neat. Um, yeah, yeah. Disney. This is like the second time. I don't know if you remember this, but when we covered Secret of Nim, right, and Don Bluth, this is the second time where somebody
They
from
made
Disney
someone
was
mad,
like,
yeah.
you know what? I'm out of here, guys. I could go make my own stuff. And it's so nice in a way to see these people actually go do the things that they continue to do and love. Um,
Hmm.
the shade that they throw in this one to Disney is epic. And if you've not seen it, for that reason alone, go watch it. It's 90 minutes long. It's a fun ride. It's amazing. I really, really loved this movie. I really did. So
Yeah, absolutely. So that is Shrek. So let us know what you think about Shrek. Let us know if you're looking forward to the new Shrek film. Let us know if you checked out the newest Puss in Boots film because that one also is excellent. I don't think I ever watched the first Puss in Boots film, but the Last Wish was really good. So check those out. Let us know all that stuff. And if you mix up a happily ever after, have another good Shrek cocktail. Or an idea for Michaela to use up the rest of her bottle of Midori. Send that our way. You can do that on our social medias. That's at Drink the Movies on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Facebook.com/Drink the Movies. If you want to see pictures of the cocktails that we make, Michaela's making most of those now, but you can see the pictures there, episode recaps, the written recipes, links to all that stuff. That can be found on the website. It's www.drinkthemovies.com. On there, you'll also find a link to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/drinkthemovies. Over there, we've got a bunch of bonus stuff. Got bonus episodes. We got cocktail chats. We do hangout once a month with the patrons, and we appreciate our patrons so much. Again, that is patreon.com/drinkthemovies. Michaela, we got a lot of stuff coming up. We're doing some Star Wars action next week. We have like so many like blockbusters scheduled this year. We have so many anniversaries for things coming up this year. We have classics we've not talked about and or thought about for like 40 years. We're doing it all this year. So people are going to want to make sure that they're, following along with the podcast. Where can they do that?
you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, anywhere where Spotify podcasts are supported and distributed. If you're hearing us right now, I guarantee that there is a button on your rectangle that says subscribe. And if you subscribe, you're going to get 2 drops a week. You're going to get our lobby bar where we talk about what's going on in the box office and make easy cocktails that anyone, even you, can make. And then we do our deep dives like the one you just heard. We are so grateful for all of our listeners and building out the community of for doing the things that we love to do the most, which is watch movies and drink things. But also, if you are a video game fan at all, you should go check out Drink the Video Games. It is amazing. Brian does such a great job. I always pop in for a cocktail, so you get 30 seconds of me too. But mostly, it's just Brian, and it's amazing. So go check it out. Congratulations again on being in the top 5. Video game podcasts from Good Pods. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, a little bit of movie tie-in here over the last couple of episodes. I just had the Tomb Raider featuring Lara Croft episode just came out most recently. So yeah, I appreciate the shout out there. Check those out wherever you're listening to this and on YouTube. So I think that's going to wrap it up here for episode 269, Shrek. Check it out. It's amazing. Have a good time. And go have a parfait because parfaits might be the most delicious thing on the whole damn planet. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time on
Drink
Drink
the
the
movies.
Movies. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me.
Hallelujah. Honestly, that
Oh,
song that started, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is breaking my heart. It's so good.
oh yeah, that's
That
pretty
entire
good.
score and soundtrack rocked, I'm telling you.
Well done.